So in this intro video, we're going to talk about both exercise 5 and exercise 6. So now that we've done some pre-processing, some georeferencing, we're going to get into actually doing some manipulation of the data. So exercise 5 will focus specifically on doing band ratios, whereas exercise 6 will look at some other types of transformations or enhancements. All right, so in exercise 5 specifically, you're going to create and explain and explore a wide variety of ratios using different data sets. So I've provided examples of the data sets here, and then we'll talk through the process. So first off, you're going to use this Vancouver image, which is a Sentinel-2 image collected on July 29, 2020. And from this image, you're going to calculate several ratios. So NDVI, Normalized Different Vegetation Index, the Normalized Different Water Index after Gao and after McFetters. Again, all those are described in the lecture module, so definitely look at the lecture module ahead of time, and then the build-up index. So you'll create all those from the Vancouver data. You're going to create a map layout with multiple frames showing the different indices, and then answer some questions. In the next component, you're going to look at trying to extract the extent of glaciers using the Normalized Different Snow Index. And this is going to be done with two data sets, two Landsat 5 thematic mapper images or data sets. So you're going to apply this image. You're going to then use raster calculator to apply a ratio to the image, so that you get basically a snow, not snow, and then you can combine those two images to get back through four categories: never glaciate, never glacier, glacier gain, glacier loss, and then glacier, and then a map layout and answer some questions. Next, you're going to use you're going to calculate the visible atmospherically resistant index for an RGB image over Poland. And you can see this is a pretty high resolution image. So this is an alternative vegetation index when you only have visible bands. And again, map layout and some questions about that. And then nextly, you're going to look at calculating the normalized burn ratio for before and after a fire, and then difference those to get the difference normalized burn ratio. And this is going to be for data associated with this sand fire, which occurred in California. So this is the post-fire. You can kind of see the scar there, and then pre-fire. So you're going to create that ratio, get the difference, and then when you're done, you're going to reclassify it to get back your some severity categories. So unburned, low, medium, and high severity. And you're going to, again, create a map and then answer some questions there. So that's the first assignment. It's focused on band ratios. Okay, and then in the second component, which uses similar data, you're going to move on to generate some some other types of transformations. So let's step through this. So first thing you're going to do is do a principal component analysis on this Sentinel-2 image over the area around Istanbul. So here's that data. So you're going to run the principal component analysis, and then you do some exploration of the ancillary report data that's provided. So make sure that you remember to generate that report data option, which is an option in the tool. And you'll answer some questions about that and make some calculations. In the second component, you're just going to do some convolutional operations, and those are going to be just done by hand. So this is an array of pixel or DN values, and you're going to apply different kernels to them, or different convolution operations. And then once you do that kind of pencil and paper component, you're going to apply those same kernels to an actual image, and this is a small, higher spatial resolution image over an area near Innsbruck in Austria. So you'll apply those operations. And then lastly, you're going to do a tassel cap transformation of one of these sandfire images, and the values you need for Landsat 8 have been provided in the lecture module, so you need to look at the lecture module to get those. So you're answering questions and making map layouts. Just a couple notes on key tools. There's different ways to do ratios and whatnot. Just let's point out a few. So under analysis tools, you can do a lot of this work using the spatial analyst extension, and specifically map algebra. So like using raster calculator. for doing like a reclass. You can also use raster calculator for doing your thresholding. If you need to reclassify, like for the burn severity, you can use the reclassify tool. You can also make use, if you want, of raster functions. So there are indexes available there in raster math, and then also under with the image analyst, there are some built-in indices that you can calculate. Just make sure you feed it the right bands. For the convolution specifically, you have to use the raster functions. So again, that's under analysis, raster functions, and then you're going to make use of convolution. So that allows you to build a kernel and apply it to an image. And you're going to do some specifically user-defined ones. Okay, so that's an example of what you're going to get into in exercise 5 and exercise 6.